Welcome to another Market Masters. Another Market Masters brought to you by Jack and Jeffrey. Let's see. Jack, you here, buddy? Still jamming out?
I'm still alive, man.
Bear didn't get you yet.
Oh, man, you should have seen yesterday. I was sitting out in front of the cabin. I got the grill right by the porch there. And this black bear is probably 10 feet away. He didn't see me. I didn't see him. Again, as soon as he saw me, he just turned around and takes off. Closer every day. I'm telling you, they're this time of year, they come down. I'm at about 8,000, a little over 8,000 foot elevation, but they come down and eat everything: apples, plums, trout, the whole 9 yards.
Man, getting ready for winter, I guess.
I think so. Yeah.
That time of year.
That's it. All right. We got a lot of red on the screen today.
I
What
got
happened?
some green. I got some green, baby. I took this I've been in this trade. I brought it to talk about here. DocuSign had earnings this morning. I got put shares of this a couple months back here on this last earnings drop. I've been selling upside calls against it all the way through here. I had an 82 strike sold for today. Look where we spiked up to right there. So what did I do? I bought it back and rolled it forward for 84 for next week.
All
Just
right. Now let's explain roll it forward.
yeah. So we can let me I'll just grab the order screen and pull it over and we can actually look at the actual order that I did. Give me one moment. Since you asked about this, let's just grab it, pop it up, pull it over right here. So I had today's 100 put, or no, this is the wrong one. That's Dollar Tree. Let me grab that. Let me flip that to the current trade right here. There we go. Docu. Looking at these, and there we are. Docu. So I had the 82 for today sold on the calls. I had 300 shares. Got put those a couple weeks ago, and I bought it back for 82 cents. I sold 2 strikes higher. When you sell a call, that is a commitment to sell your shares. If somebody wants them, they can call them out. So I'm selling that commitment. I had an 82 call sold for today. I bought it back for 82 cents and sold one more week out, 2 strikes higher, and collected 15 cents premium per contract. So that's $200.
That's important.
That's $2 more potential per share upside. Plus, I got paid 15 cents more on top of that to make that commitment $2 higher.
Love it. It's important to remember when you roll out that you want to pick a higher strike price as well, because a lot of times on a regular platform, when you select roll out or roll it, it keeps that same strike and just extends the expiration. But you want to raise that strike as well.
Yeah, I'm rolling up and out. You can just roll out and collect premium if the stock doesn't look like it's moving. DocuSign, that pop today looks like it might continue. We might fill this gap that we started out back here. And I want to be along for that ride because this is my technical pattern. If we bounce here, it has upside potential to go up to 115, possibly 120. And I'm sitting down here with a cost of 76 a share. Actually, I think it's 75 a share because all the premium I've sold. That would be a beautiful upside potential, Jack.
That would be beautiful, and it's within reach.
It's not even that far away. I mean, we were just up here at 105 at the beginning of the year. We're coming, just before the beginning of the year. So not even that much of a stretch for this stock. It's been in this range in the last, 9 months. And I feel like we can go back up there. And I mean, that'd be an upside of around $25 to $30 a share times 300, 300 shares. I mean, that's a pretty good little chunk of money if I can make it work.
That's a pretty good chunk of money. Speaking of chunks of money, I got one expiring today we might want to look at.
Yeah, let's go for it.
ANET, that's kind of
Ain't it?
been my third baby. NVIDIA, Broadcom, and ANET. ANET, I'm building more in. So on Tuesday, I sold the 127 put and simultaneously bought the 126.
Well, goodness, that's way down here.
I know. I should have, here's the thing is I made 7% in 3 days. I'll take that.
Eh,
But
hard
I should have gone higher in my selection of my strikes. But, there was so much more money to be made than 7%, but I'm deep out of the money. And when I'm here in the cabin, there's no cell service in the canyon along the river, which I'm fishing all day up and down it. So I want to be able to put this trade on Tuesday and still be able to go fish and ride motorcycles and not have to look at the phone because I can't get a quote out there. So, this is kind of for me a safer trade, if you could say that, a little further out of the money. I'm good with the yield, but if I was more active, I would have picked a higher set of strikes. But I'm happy
You
with.
know, you say you there was more money to have been made, but a lot of people get caught in that trap, that shoulda, coulda, woulda, done something different thing. And if you start playing that game, then you start changing your mindset. And if you already have a winning mindset, and you start playing the shoulda, coulda, woulda, then you're probably going to change it into possibly taking a loss. Maybe you should have held it for longer, and then you hold it and it rolls over on you, and you turn what would have been a winner if you just stuck to your guns into a potential loser. You know,
Yeah.
and if you you could have held it longer, well, if you could have, you might have held into a loss. And I would have gone higher, but this market could have turned down with the volatility and the uncertainty and the negative jobs report today. I
Yeah.
mean, lots
I
of
stick
things.
to a, I stick to a formula. Really, I do. 7 to 10%, I'm happy with that. And yeah, I could have gone higher. Some guys I know did, but I'm comfortable with what I'm doing because with what I'm doing fits my personality. And everybody's got to find that. You'll learn a lot about yourself trading stocks and options, and find strategies that you're comfortable with. And yeah, I could have made more, but I'm fine with what I made. And I do the same thing every week for 15 years.
And that's, some people have been critical about our 40% ROI, but I've seen it in the chat and I've had private questions and stuff like that. It's like, how many people are cranking down 40% return on
Yeah,
their account every
I
year?
know. If anybody gave you a hard time about making 40% a year, I'd like to see their returns. That 40 is unbelievable, right?
Yeah. I mean, and it's consistent. That's the
That's
thing.
the
It's
other
low
thing.
stress. This right here is low stress. I sleep well at night. I don't stress about it. I've already got, this is actually 31% or 30, actually it's up to 33% return for the year. And I've only been doing this for 4 months so far.
It's awesome, brother. Keep
So
up
it's
the
going to
good
be,
work.
take that 33% times three more. I might have actually hit 100% return, even though I'm only targeting 40%.
Right.
That's the craziness of the way the wheel works.
Well, you both, everybody here, the participants, the good folks at home, you got to understand that here's two pros, and we don't stress our trades at all. So if you think trading is stressful, it does not have to be that way. We're proving it here, making money right in front of your very eyes, and we are not stressed. So if you're stressed, maybe find something that's doesn't stress you out strategy wise, because it doesn't have to be that way. I know a lot of people are killing themselves with stress and anxiety in this market, and you don't have to do that.
And Jack, I wanted to talk about this one too. This is the first one I had up. I actually rolled this out yesterday. I bought back my 100 strike put for this week for $1.21 and sold next week and collected 75 cents more. Didn't go up, didn't go down, just straight even at the same strike. But that extra premium was still there. $150 for going out another week.
Nice.
To me, that was worth it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Let's take a look at AVGO. This is unbelievable. So yesterday, I did the poor man's expected move. calculation, and it was $19. And here, the surprise caught everybody off guard. I think in the morning session or after hours, at one point, it hit 350.
Whew. It looks
Yeah.
like this morning it was 355 briefly.
Was that during market hours, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the after hours turned off, so that
Okay.
was it spiked 355 just ever so briefly and then
And look at
pulling back
that
a little bit.
fade, though. I mean, whenever I see a stock gap up, and you guys might want to remember this in the future, most of the time when a stock gaps up, it's an overreaction. So, it jumps up to 355 or whatever. It's not going to hold. It's down 20 points since there. So this one probably will fade here a little bit more. I'm shocked at how much Microsoft has faded. But, it was we'll take a look at that one and then we'll come back to Broadcom. Yeah, where that star is up there, that was an overreaction. See, and that gap has been filled in and it's heading back to more of a normal range. So
Yeah, I've
don't
got
ever
some.
buy when you see a stock gapping up. Don't ever buy into that. And if you have that stock that is gapped up, that's your sell signal, right? Anytime you get an abnormally large move up, you want to take advantage of it. You don't want to be left holding the bag down here at 497.
Oh, we lost Jack. Don't want to be left holding the bag at 497. But this one does have the potential to pull on back to these levels in here, right here.
My connection is terrible. Do you see me dropping off here twice?
Yeah, you're back just a little bit here, and yeah, we're gonna have to get the Mrs. Jack out there to fix your Starlink, I think.
I don't know if she could do it. The bear tore it up. I told you when he tore up that plum tree, the branches knocked the dish, and it's just not working very good. But such is life up here.
Yeah. Well, I was just while you were off, I was talking about the fact we have support levels here and at the breakout level back here. That breakout level being all the way back from the high we made last July. We broke out through it, and we may come and back test it right there before we can go higher on Microsoft. We may eventually come back higher again. So that's what I see on Microsoft.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to AVGO. What do you see on that? What's your crystal ball telling you here?
Well, this 363 level, very similar to Microsoft. We came up just shy of that level. Now we're pulling back. We may have to come back down, retest the breakout level, which we broke out of those highs with this move today. Those highs we had just back in July this year, July and August. We may have to retest that before we can push on up to that 363 level. But this thing, you look at where we came from Liberation Day to where we just topped out just now, it would not surprise me one bit to experience a larger correction on AVGO just because things get a little over their skis. It is one of the 11 companies that's been responsible for 59% of all the gains in the market since 2019. Think about that a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Only
It's
11 companies responsible for 59% of all the gains since 2019.
and I think
And
4 of them this year was
yeah,
all that added to it, right? So
yeah.
it's the S&P 500 is skewed very badly.
So this does have a level back here that was a pretty solid level for quite a while.
Yeah. Well,
And we may have to.
I sold the 350 calls and the 360 calls against my long position. I'm totally happy with that.
Very similar to Microsoft, we might have to come back and retest that zone in
But
here.
if you take out Liberation Day and you go from December to where we are now, that looks more like a normal trend. It only looks steep because of Liberation Day. And Liberation Day, they threw the baby out with the bathwater. Everybody sold everything. I don't know hardly any stocks that don't look exactly have a deep dip there on Liberation Day, and a lot of them have spiked since then. But if you take Liberation Day out, it's still okay to me. It still looks fine. It just looks like I say, it just looks steep since Liberation Day. But if you go back to 24 here, it still looks normal.
You know, the Liberation Day was just the reaction right there was just the finality move. It was already in a correction from December down through
Yeah,
that April beginning. So
correct.
really it's up 86% off of that, you know, correction it had already started. And then when you add the Liberation Day, it really jacks up the amount it's been up since that April low down here.
Did you
You know,
buy anything around that Liberation Day?
um, not particularly. That's kind of about that time is when I kicked off my 50K challenge, and I've just kind of been grinding it out. Mostly, you know, most of my trading money is tied up right here in doing these covered calls. So I've been in and out of all sorts of
Yeah.
things along the way, but I don't have any big heavy positions that I've been just building and building and building,
Yeah,
unless you count my crypto, but I've been in crypto for years.
I've got 3 or 4 positions I've been building, and I did buy Broadcom here and some ANET on that Liberation Day. To me, that's an overreaction as well. Just like we see an overreaction on earnings with AVGO and Microsoft, we can also see an overreaction to the downside, which is what happened with Liberation Day. Stocks that had nothing to do with tariffs even went down. That's why I say they threw the baby out with the bathwater. Everything got sold for no reason on Liberation Day.
Yeah, we even had Bitcoin getting sold out on
I
Liberation
know,
Day.
and nothing to do. There's not a tariff on Bitcoin. I mean, that right there shows you what an overreaction the market can have. And the market is a really scared little girl right now. I mean, it doesn't take much for everybody to bail on something.
Well, it's it's human psychology. It doesn't take much for we kind of have this instinct where somebody yells fire and we all start scattering. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter if we
right.
see it or not. Like um, you know, get the heck out of the away from the danger. So when everybody starts running for the exit doors, sell it now and figure it out later. That's a very human, a basic human survival instinct that we have is, fight or flight. And usually it's flight, and then you figure out how to fight.
Yeah.
Um, so it's
This I got put IBIT at 65. I think I told everybody that. If not, I got put that last Friday while I was on vacation. Was totally fine with it. When I came back on Tuesday, I just start selling calls against it, and I think I got gifted the stock here as we'll see down the road. I'll take that 65, and I got a really
uh,
nice position, about 3,300 shares, and it's been great selling calls against it.
yeah, right there on Friday, I sold the 59 strike, and I just
Wow,
closed that out for full profit. I got
wow,
about 50 cents a contract for it.
nice,
So,
nice.
and
Now
right there, I
you
just closed it out.
predicted. What's your prediction on Bitcoin? Are we in the Bitcoin winter coming up, or how do you see Bitcoin?
It's getting close. It's getting close. This is kind of the path. I actually drew this a couple days ago. Here's the path I see us on right now. If you can count to five, we've done one, we've done two. We're working on number three here, and we know we're wrong on this potential path if we break down below this 108 level again. If we break back below 108,000, something's wrong with this potential path right here. But this takes us back near the high. We'll probably do a three-wave correction back down in this 115, 117 area, and then go for the finality move of potential Bitcoin summer. So that's what I see right now. I'm still open to change it as new information comes along. Like I said, if we break down below 108, something's wrong here. But right now, this is what I see. This was the first move up, a retrace. We did the first move up. We're doing the retrace today. As long as we hold the higher low, probably on this path. The next stop up here in 118, 120 area. Probably do a little pullback or consolidation there before we push on higher into the 122 to 125 area. Then we'll probably do that next correction and then a final move. And a lot of people have a hard time believing I can predict it that far out, but it's kind of funny how it works that way. Um,
You've been great with this, man. I take it literally what you say with Bitcoin. You nailed this one. You nail a lot of them. Your analysis is spot on.
And this is, we went through this downtrend. We finally broke out. We're back tested it here in the last couple of days. Now we're potentially going on up back to that 120, 118, 120 area. So that's the short term. And then longer term, I'm still expecting a visit of 150 to 170,000 area. My big picture target that I put up here all the way back in 2022.
Oh,
In late 2022, I put this target up here, and I still believe we can reach that. So nothing's
what time
proven that
frame do
it's
you have that 170 at?
unfortunately my time frame I predicted all the way back was uh October, and we're coming up on October pretty quick. So this could wrap up pretty quickly. We could see some sort of blow off top across many assets. Jack, you should be no stranger to blow off tops. You might want to explain what that might be and why that kind of happens. And I think we
It's the
might be
ultimate
looking down one
fear.
of those.
It's the ultimate fear of missing out, a blow off top. It's when, as you've said before, the irony of the market is that higher prices bring in more buyers. And if you accelerate that process where it's really stuff really starts to rip, then people will sell other things they have to get into the stuff that's ripping higher. And once everybody's in that wants to be in, that causes that blow off top. And then there's nothing, no more buyers, and you see a huge pullback.
I call it the bubble pattern.
You know,
Looks something like this.
America's great at making bubbles. That's what we do best.
And everybody thinks that, we've only had like two big bubbles, dot-com bubble, great financial crisis bubble, but littler bubbles happen all the time. GameStop was a bubble. Tilray, when it first came out, a bubble. Even Beyond Meats was kind of a bubble when it came out. All the vaccine stocks, Moderna, Pfizer, all those during COVID were bubbles. They went straight up. They followed just this exact pattern right here. Even something like SMCI just recently did this bubble and is busting. People were hyped up on SMCI along with Nvidia. They thought it was going to be the next big AI stock. Nothing gonna slow this baby down. And here we are working on popping the bubble. We've already topped out back here, and we're working on this bottom. Coming back down to normal.
Also, this has a terrible jockey. This guy is horrible.
Well, they've been caught lying several times, and
Their own accounting firm dumped them.
yeah.
That's 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 as bad as it gets, folks. When you have a publicly held company trying to get audited to comply with SEC rules, and the accounting firm says we ain't going to do it because
Too
your
many,
books are cooked. We can't make sense. We can't sell it.
too many accounting irregularities.
Yeah, yeah.
And what
Did
that
that?
means, if that breaks down, probably coming back down here around $10. So,
Yeah. Did that get added to the S&P 500 when it was around 1,000?
I think it
Taken
did.
out, and then was it taken out ever?
I don't know. I'll have to, if you give me a second, I can pop that up on another window here.
You know, the for the good folks at home, the S&P 500 is probably the most rigged market in the world, and it's legal manipulation. So what they do is they want to keep the SPY humming along up. So what they'll do is they'll do this like a rotation. They'll take out the three weakest stocks in the index, and then they'll just add three hot stocks that are not in the index. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't work. Uh, but it is a manipulated index. And when they announce that they're going to kick a stock out, you can short that one or buy puts and pretty much have a win. And when they tell you the stocks they're going to add, you can go long nose or buy calls. And that's kind of a high probability trade as well. But this one, are they still in the S&P 500? They can't
I was
be.
looking at I was looking at Wikipedia here, and it looks like they've been removed.
Yeah.
They were added about a year ago, and now they're back out. So I
So
don't.
that's about to be the shortest hold time I've ever seen. And that's where they got it wrong. You know, the guys at the board of the S&P, they got that totally wrong. And again, if they would have just looked at the jockey a little bit, they'd realize this thing is up on air.
Yeah, this, if for anybody having a trouble, I'm just pulled up Wikipedia and went to the S&P 500 companies, and it gives you the list right here. Includes the date they were added, and little basic information about them right there. So just free to look at information right there.
All right. Now, another gap up I want to look at is Goog.
Goog right there. That one. Now, for a gap up that keeps going, what does that tell you, Jag, right there?
Oh, yeah, that's something else. When you have still buy, I did not expect that. I sold some calls 250 and expected it to calm down a little bit, but it has not calmed down. I still think that gap has to be filled in. And what's crazy about this is this wasn't earnings. This was just news. They came out that Alphabet did not have to sell the Chrome browser or divest the Chrome browser, and that news popped hard. Now, I heard a rumor that Marjorie Taylor Greene bought this stock the day before that announcement. The day before that announcement came out. All the more reason to enact the Stop Trading Act by Congress, right?
What's funny is Pelosi bought right back here, and she's been holding.
Yeah, but MJT, man, she just profited off illegal inside information. She got word that courts were not going to make Google divest of Chrome, and she bought the stock, and bang.
I think Pelosi knew already what was going to happen, but
Yeah, yeah. It's funny how they get in there and just deny, deny, deny that they know anything about the market, and they always say, "Oh, it was my husband" or whatever.
oh, I just got lucky.
Yeah, I know. Jeez,
Wish I
enough is
got that
enough.
lucky.
Enough is enough. Yeah, I mean, I want to fly on the wall in wherever Congress meets, and they're talking about, hey, did you hear? You could just see them all in the same room. Hey, did you hear? Google's not going to have to sell Chrome, and the next guy, hey, you hear? Google's not going to have to sell Chrome. Next thing you
Yeah.
know, our politicians are super rich, and that's
It
not
was
why they get in politics.
it was a few things here too. It wasn't just Chrome. They didn't have to sell Android either. That was in the judgment, which is, all the cell phones, and, they're already building all that stuff into Android. And on top of that, Apple almost simultaneously announced that they were signing a contract to use Gemini AI instead of ChatGPT. I mean, almost simultaneously, all this happened. So it's like somebody kind of lined it all up for this pop. And 263, same kind of upside target as we looked at on AVGO and Microsoft. At 263 would be the extension up here if we get that run. So, 250, I don't know how far you are out, Jack. Maybe it's October. You're safe for right now, but we're probably going to grind on up there.
October 17th. But here's the thing is I'm using this in my cash generation blueprint strategy. It's basically covered calls with a little twist. And I've been selling calls on this thing for 3 years. Uh, we've had a public class on it every month we meet, and yeah, it hit its third year in service last month. So my cost basis is around 150. If I get called out at 250, I'll take it.
That's $100 a share. That's pretty
And if I
rich
get
right
called
there.
out at 250, I'm going to immediately turn around the following Monday and buy the stock back at the market and continue to sell calls. So
Sounds like a plan.
it,
Sounds like a plan.
I love it.
And this one's one of those higher, right now it's showing a beta basically even with the S&P, but typically this one runs a little higher on the beta from what I've watched.
Yeah,
So
I have it higher than that on bar chart. Let's see what the beta is on bar chart. Yeah, the beta on bar chart doesn't always match the beta that you show.
yeah, I mean, this is just off trading view. I don't make it up. I don't do it myself. So, but that's why I also check multiple data sources sometimes. I don't always just trust one data source. People are like, which one thing can I use? I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
all over the place.
yeah, me too. Can't get this to come up. So yeah, okay, here we go. This is almost like the old days of dial-up where the computer's making all that funky noise. I mean, this thing is so slow up here. I'm gonna have to go out there and adjust that dish or something. It's just not coming up. But I think the beta is over one.
Let's see if I can pull it up here. Bar charts. Let's see. Fugue. Why do you like the Class C shares over the Class A shares?
Because people don't get confused that I'm not trading Goog L when I do it. Just straight up. Right? The only difference is the Goog L shareholders get to vote on stuff, but I'm not going to read stuff that I got to vote on. It's too much reading. So I just
You know,
I don't want to vote. Just plain old Goog
you know
is
what's
good.
fun? You know what's funny is between the two of them, Goog with the L, the Class A shares, tends to hit my technical patterns more right on the money, and GOG tends to miss just slightly on my targets. So it's kind of funny. Um, the performance of GOOGL is a little better as far as my technical analysis patterns go.
Crazy. So the beta here is 1.01. So that is close.
Yeah,
Goog.
it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty
What does a
close.
beta on IBIT show you there?
Oh, let me pull that one back up. IBIT on bar chart. And I'm not used to looking at this one. Where's the beta sitting here?
It's down a little bit.
Yeah, 60-month beta. I think that's probably the difference is the difference between 60-month. I bet TradingView's only doing like a 12-month beta.
Probably.
And this is a 5-year beta, so 2.5 on IBIT, which
That's
that's going to be
great.
back to the beginning of IBIT, basically.
So, folks, the beta is important because beta is a measurement of volatility. So the S&P 500 has a beta of one. Anything that has a beta more than one is going to have more volatility and therefore better options prices. So you always want, stock with a beta over one and preferably in an uptrend, or you wouldn't want to do any of the stuff we do. But IBIT is great for that. And at the price, the capital requirement on naked puts is low. You can do covered calls easy on this one. You can do credit spreads on it. At this price, it's just very attractive to have a beta of 2.5 on a $60 stock. That's about as good as it gets. It's so much easier to do this than it is on Tesla at 300, or Microsoft at 400. That's 500. That's harder to do. This at $62. It's great for naked puts, covered calls, credit spreads.
Now, I'm loving this one too, HEHA. I sold a 33, and it looks like we just lost Jack again. I sold a 33 2 weeks ago, and I rolled it last week for 95 cents credit. Same strike, just roll, I sold a put, 33, rolled it forward, sold it originally at 75 cents credit, rolled it forward, 95 cents credit. I just rolled it forward again for 89 cents more credit at 33. So Jack, you back with us?
I'm with you.
So
You sold a naked put here?
I sold the naked put back here 2 weeks back for 75 cents originally. Last week, I rolled it forward for 95 cents more credit for this week. And just before we went live, I rolled it again for 89 cents more credit at the same strike. I'm just printing money on this one.
You are putting money on that one. And that's the first step in the wheel strategy, folks, where you sell naked puts. And then if you don't get put the stock, you do it again. And if you don't get it, you do it again. And if you do get put the stock somewhere down the line, it's kind of gifted to you. And look at this. All this capital here, all this premium is going to lower his cost.
Yeah, it keeps lowering the cost, lowering the cost. That's 14, 19, 1, 17, 24, 25, $259 right there.
Nice. Without even owning the stock, making money without owning a stock. Isn't that cool?
So I've made $2.59 a share. And I've not even bought the stock yet.
Beautiful. Everybody ought to take note of that. That's a great way to make money without touching the stock. And if you do get the stock, your cost basis is lowered and you could turn around and start selling covered calls.
And the thing is, I'm using the same amount of money as if I had bought the stock. At least for me. I'm not doing it on margin or anything like that. I'm just doing it cash secured puts. I have basically I'm using $3,300 per share, but that now I've made 260 bucks on that. So I'm actually, using less money, less money at risk, starting to use some of the market's money to balance this position.
Do you have an outlook on this similar to Bitcoin? Are you
Yeah, I
bullish on
do.
Ethereum?
And right here, let's go to a cleaner chart so I can kind of explain what we're looking at. So I am pretty bullish on this. We did a little micro pattern. I'll have to turn off that right there. This right here, this move that we did right in here is a very bullish pattern. Now the correction that we're doing off of that, we're pushing the limits. And I think all of crypto is just kind of doing this for us. So my line in the sand right now is 4,200. If we get below that, we might take a little step back on Ethereum. But as long as we're hanging out above 4,200 on Ethereum, I always go to the underlying. I don't stay on the derivative chart. ETHA is a derivative of Ethereum. IBIT is a derivative of Bitcoin. So I always go to the core chart. And as long as we stay above this is what I call a 5 up. This was a 3 down to ideal support. And this sets up a relative high probability projection. And this is where it gets pretty crazy. If we follow through on this next move, and it is bullish, that puts us right up here. That's 5,800 on Ethereum. That's an all-time new high. That upside potential, roughly 35% right there on that one single move. I'm not looking at anything past that. Just this move up we did in a couple weeks ago, and this pullback we've done this week into September. And then we go back to ETHA and back to the daily chart. We look at what a 35% upside would be off of this chart, because it's basically a 1-to-1. There's no leverage. There's no nothing. Oop, click the wrong tool. This tool right here, 35% upside, puts us off the screen here. Roughly looking at $43 ups, target up here. So going from 33 to 43, that's a $10 move on a $30 stock. That would be pretty huge if I got those shares.
That would be very huge. And the biggest benefit, folks, to trading the iShares version of a coin is that you can cash flow it with options, where you can't really do that straight up off a Coinbase, right? There's no calls like that in puts. So this is a much better alternative. It's just a proxy. It trades tick for tick with Ethereum.
Yeah,
How
if I
about
went and bought, I was gonna say,
XR?
if I went and bought that Ethereum, I can't sell any options. I can't
Yeah,
cash flow anything. I just got to
right.
hold it.
That's
But
why
right now,
people are moving into the ETF. All the billionaires, Israel Englander, all these guys, they sold their actual Bitcoin and transferred it into IBIT strictly so they could use options against it.
I've already made almost 8%
Nice.
return, and it hadn't gone anywhere. I haven't I haven't bought anything. I've made
Yeah,
almost 8% return in 3
no,
weeks.
no real risk of ownership. That's brilliant. All right, we have somebody that wants to see XRP.
Now, the thing here is BlackRock doesn't have an ETF for XRP. So
Not yet.
that's ding number one.
Not yet.
Not yet. Now they're doing kind of, they don't have the bullish pattern like Ethereum had. They did this is very cautionary to me. This is what I call an ABC correction. And you could be like, well, it went higher. How is that a correction? Well, this gets back into the bigger Elliott wave theory stuff. This was probably an A wave down, capital A, lowercase b, lowercase c. That's,
Give us a
this,
give us a
this.
give us an overview of Elliott wave.
So Elliott wave is it's kind of a herd mentality. We've already been talking about the herd mentality in the market. Elliott wave is based on herd mentality, and it's made up of impulsive or trending moves and corrective moves, which correct the trends. We market speak all the time talking about corrections and things like that. So I'll just pull this off the chart real quick. If we're an impulsive move, usually it happens in 5 moves. And you just count it numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, there's a few rules to it, like 1 and 4 cannot overlap. All right. If they overlap, it's not impulsive. All right. Now, corrections, twos, wave 2s and wave 4s, those are counter to the trend. The trend goes this way. The odd numbers are the trend. The even numbers are counter trend. Now, the counter trend moves always happen in 3-wave moves. And I've coined, usually they're counted in ABCs or WXYs, but I call them A, absolutely, B, beautiful, C, corrections when they meet the certain proportions. And these proportions just happen to line up. I've taken all of Elliott wave, which is very complex, a lot of rules, a lot of guidelines, a lot of suggestions. And I've kind of distilled it down into 2 patterns that I follow constantly. And funny enough, when you look at my roadmap line, wave 2s and wave 4s a lot of times bounce off the roadmap line. And when they do that correction, they do that absolutely beautiful correction potential. And when that all lines up, it gives me higher confidence. Now, we look at it right here, we bounced off and then we went higher. But then we're working on some other correction here. And the proportions of the ABC, like I drew right there, many times in a correction, the A wave is either equal to the C wave or the C wave is A wave times 1.272. That's the 1 and the 1272 C right there. So that's why this zone where it stopped right there, to me, if this is an A, this is the B, and that's the C, this matches right here. We hit this with where that stopped right there. That's why I say this is the proportions of this move are very much in line with the correction, even though it went higher than the origin point. Now, getting into the weeds here, this could be an A down, this could be a B up. And I know it's not a 1, 2 because 2s aren't allowed to exceed the start point, but Bs can. So this could be a running flat and it comes up with a low that's not quite lower than the A down here. That's what concerns me on XRP. So that really gets into the weeds a little bit. We could build more on Elliott wave speak as we go along, Jack, and teach more people about it. This is a kind of a really, really crash course. And, I can take this a little bit further and explain. Yeah. I can take this just a little bit further into how I identify this as a measured bounce right here.
Like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm going to replug them and then replug them in.
Okay.
And then can I clean this afternoon?
Sure.
Okay, well, I'm going to do it right now.
All right. Thank you.
Now this move up right here, we come down, we hit that 618 right there. This is very similar to a 1-2. Now, how do you know the difference between an AB or a 1-2? And that's this size move right here. When it stops in that 1 to 1.272 zone, it's usually a C. If we get it all the way to a 1618, which I had drawn up there, that's usually the point where we cross into a 3, and this is a trend. So we pulled back short of what would confirm this is an uptrend. And that's that's why I say it looks corrective in proportion. And I just, Occam's razor, I assume the simplest explanation of anything is instead of trying to overcomplicate it and say it's an exception to the rule, I just go with the one that it most nearly matches with, aligns with. Now, the 1-2s and the ABCs, the first two moves, the first pull up and the first pull back, the first move up, first move back, those are the same between the 1s and the A's and the B's and the 2s. The difference here in a C and a 3 is where we hit the target. If it's a C, there's the target. If it's a 3, here or up is the target. And that's, the long and the short. Where's the commonality between both of these? Right there. So that's why when I see one of these, I'll target that zone right there with my money. Higher probability of always getting that move. So hopefully you understand a little bit about this and, kind of pick that up a little bit. Very, one that I liked a lot was back here. This one proven to be a monster. Hadn't slowed down yet. Has a bigger upside potential. But we started out with that same kind of proportion here. I got a little bit spooked because of how we slowed down right here at this 1 to 1272 right there. We just kind of like had trouble getting through there. We didn't really pull back. Came up a little bit higher and hung out. Now we're pushing on through that 1618, confirming the bullish move. This may come on up, get a pullback, and make a finality type move. So this was the 1, this was a 2. Somewhere in here is going to be the top of the 3. We'll get a pullback for a 4, and then we'll do the 5, more than likely. Somewhere out there on Celsius. And this is why I get really bullish on some of these. Dollar Tree has the same sort of thing. Gap has the same sort of thing. And I go after these over and over like this. This is why I look for these patterns. And you may be like, well, the roadmap line didn't, if that's the 2, it didn't hit the roadmap line. It's because we're looking at the wrong time frame on this move. That 2 actually occurred on a different time frame. We'd have to go down and look at it right here. Actually occurred on the 1 hour right here. That 1, that 2 occurred right there. This is where multi-time frame analysis plays in right here. So this will probably do a bigger, and once it completes the 5th wave move up, it'll probably do a bigger correction that bounces back off of the roadmap line here before we get continuation even further up. And that might take us up well into the 120, 150 area right up in here for Celsius. Now I started trading this back here. I kind of preempted the bottom. It flushed out, got a little lower, but I was already convinced that this move was nearing completion. And that came from looking at a bigger picture from this move down here to this move up here. We stopped at that 618 level, dipped a little bit lower, but now we're reversing. And that provides the potential. This is where it gets wild on Celsius. If you ignore all the local price action and we look at this bottom, this top, this bottom, if this is actually bullish and we get continuation well beyond that 150 area, we could be looking at a move up into this 550 area from a current price around 60 bucks. It's almost a 10xer right there, potential. What time frame do I use? All of them. This is a self-similar pattern that combines. It has to be present. All the rules have to stay valid and cannot be invalidated on every single time frame for it to be valid. So that's where your count's going sideways if it starts getting invalidated all the way down on the 1 minute time frame and all the way down on stuff like the 5-second chart. If the 5-second chart starts, look at this. Same kind of, we get the same patterns, the same moves, even in a 5-second chart. And you may not believe that price moves like that, but there you go. It's the same sort of moves, same proportions, same everything. even in these small itty bitty time frames. Look at that. That was a correction. Move down, move up, move down, hit that zone, reversed, turned around. And that was in the span of between 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock with a 5-second chart. So when you say it, which it are you talking about? And please be specific when you say it. This, that, these, those, it. It's difficult. You think your high of 120, a high of 120 doesn't go higher. Like a high of 120 is a price that doesn't move. If it was the price, you're talking about for Celsius. Now, time is the hardest part of this whole thing. If that's what you're asking, like when might we hit this? Hey, it could be next year, could be the year after. You know, this climb speed typically matches. All right, history kind of guides us here. That move up, it's not unreasonable. I firmly believe the market does what I call echoes. It's where the first product I launched was called Echo Trades. We do similar size pullbacks and we do similar size expansions in the market. So this could take well out into 2027 just to get to the lower levels. The much higher levels, you know, we could be looking at, you know, 2030s maybe to get up in those levels. Right there. Now, you know, things can go faster. We can do a bubble. You know, higher prices bring more excitement. We could do something like that where we go exponential on the climb speed. Entirely possible. So, got to keep all things in perspective. You say core weave, I expect core weave to come all the way back down. That's that bubble pattern thing that Jack and I were talking about right there. That's we hit peak excitement here. Coming back down right there would be my expectation. In fact, if we could pop over here. Yeah, I don't have it drawn still, but we have support right back down here around 65. If we get through it, very easily see it coming all the way back down to the bottom. Right there. Alrighty. Looks like we lost Jack today. A lot less fun talking without my sidekick. All right. Other things I am into for next week. Chewy has earnings coming up next week. Lucky. Everybody's starting to see you'll start making sense of these patterns here. See what we got? See where we bottomed out right here on Chewy. See how we reversed. We haven't really done a retrace back to here. But we might on earnings. Hold that roadmap line. Turn around and go higher right here. Now, my primary expectation right now, 51 on the upside. That doesn't mean it won't pull back first. May very well. I thought that this may have been the bottom originally. This move up and we got a retrace and I was selling puts in here right at support. I got put the stock and then we went down here. It was like a big bummer, but we quickly reversed. Now this is all documented on this right here. We can look at the trades. You can see Chewy in the list there. For a number of weeks, I've been selling. Let's see, it looked like that was the first one right there. Chewy put option right there. Back July 11th. Sold it 42 cents for 6 of them. Played the 18th. Closed it out for a penny. Came back to the table. Again. Sold it on the 18th. And got put those shares right there on the 25th. So where was that? We come in here and grab the 25th. Right there. So I started playing on the 11th, which was right there. Got put. I thought that maybe we'd hold the roadmap line. We dipped a little lower. At strike price, I'm in at 39. Minus the credit I took in, which is 71 cents. That's pretty good. Not even to mention the one before that. So I was in at 39, which is right up here. And I just rolled that out past next Friday, or to next Friday's expiration. And I'm at the 45 strike with my options. So 39 to 45 if I get called out. That's $6 a share, plus all the premium I've taken in. And if I don't get called out, I could ride this baby on up to possibly 51, 52, 53 area right here. So there you go. There you go. That's the potential. So we do have a resistance right there at that prior high. I'm kind of sitting there just above it with my 45 sold call out the next week. And just to show you what I did, I'll pull this over right here. I bought back the 42 for this Friday, 9 cents. Sold the 45 at 62 cents, brought in 53 cents a contract to go up and out, up $3, out a week, past earnings. The technical analysis on the chart is bullish for me. I think that we probably, highly likely that we bottomed here. I'm cautious on this zone because this could be back to the fact that this could be an A, this could be a B, and then we could take a bigger C down right there. So that is the bearish alternative if this isn't the bottom. So you know where it might go to the upside and the downside. The bigger downside potential down here around 28. If this thing takes a turn back below the roadmap line, right there. But as long as we're up above it, here's the resistance right here. Once we get above that resistance, my upside target up here. I would sell puts. Like if I was going to do something, I'd probably sell puts down here around 36, 37. We can actually take a look at it for next week. I wouldn't just buy shares. That's taking on risk higher than you should, really. I bought 39. You could go with 39s. I was willing to buy at 39. You should never buy it if you don't think it's going to go up. If you're going to be super bummed out if we go from 41 to 28, don't buy here. Wait for this. It may never come. You got to buy it at the price that you're willing to own it at. I sold 39s because I was willing to own it at 39. There's a lot of people at 38 right there. So at 38s, you come on down to 37s, get paid pretty reasonably. Looks like about 45 cents, 40 cents on the last. Right there. You can get 40 cents 40 cents a share. That's not bad for 37. Be $2 better than me. If you want a lower risk, you can go to 36s. Now, ROI wise, and we're 7 days out. So you take these prices, divide by 7, and you have to take the strike. So how do you figure out the ROI? That's been a question I've gotten inside my 50K challenge. So you take the premium that you get, and premium, like, just go with 37 here. Let's go with 40 cents. Take that 40 cents, 41 cents, divide 37. That's 0.41 divided by 37. That gets you a number, and I've got to get pop with the calculator so I get the number right. That gets you 1.1%, but that's for 7 days. Times 100 right there. That's 1.1%. You divide by the number of days. Pop the calculator back up. So we divide by 7. That's 0.15. 0.15%. Then we multiply that by 365 days in a year to annualize it. Calculator back on top, times 365. That's 57%. So that's actually better than 40% ROI. That's 57.77% ROI if you sold that 37 right there. That's the return on the money used right there. Everybody understand? And that's if if you rolled this out all the way to a year from now, you were out here, January, 26 out here, June, almost a year from now, and you tied up that money that whole time, you still want that kind of 1 year ROI, right? You want that return on the money it ties up. You want to get that kind of return. So this ties up the money just for a week, and you look to do these opportunities every week. At least I do. And keep rotating the money, keep rotating the opportunity. And you'll be like, well, I'm not good enough to find the opportunities every week. Well, that's why you come hang out with people that do. And I've shown pretty well so far this year that I do pretty good at finding the opportunities over and over and over. It's my performance so far on this challenge. Look at the profit right here. I just started tax day. So I've only made this money in the last 4 months. And where's the losses? They're in here. There's just not much of them. I do have a couple losses. Like I booked a loss right there on that roll forward on the Dollar Tree. So there are losses in here. They're just not big ones. I don't take big losses. I'm not sitting on unbooked loss either. And there's a loss on a Rocket Lab I rolled forward. Loss there. All I did was sell the shares for the same price I bought them for. So there you go. Now I think we have we're gonna stream Jack's BDI product. We did a stream earlier, or we did a presentation earlier in the week, and it wasn't the highest quality with Jack's internet problem. And Jared, I think you have that queued up. We're gonna try to show this off, how Jack leverages some unseen data inside these option chains to tip off bullish periods in stocks.
Yes, that is exactly right. It's a weekly income two strategy. So just like you were just talking about. So this kind of lines up perfectly. So I appreciate everything you taking over at the end, Jeff. I'll take over from here, man. We'll see you next Wednesday.
All right, everybody. Make sure you come back for Market Masters next Wednesday. We'll continue the conversation on all this. Hopefully Jack will have his internet better, and Jared's going to play a little stream for you from a presentation on how to use this data inside the options to actually exploit some of these opportunities week after week. So without further ado, Jared, take it away. Hey, Jared's gonna fix the sound there for everybody. I didn't leave yet.
Profits shown are not typical, make no future earning claims. You may lose monies. The trade expressed are from back-tested and live trades in order to demonstrate the potential of the system from September 25th, 2023 till May 12th, 2025. The average return per trade, winners and losers included with live trading, is 7.19% over 7-day hold time with a 64 win rate. The average winner, 39.44%. Every trade example is based on a 10K starting stake unless otherwise noted. The testimonials are not from the specific program, but from various programs. We cannot guarantee future results. There is always high degree of risk in trading. See the terms on the Jack Carter Trading homepage for more information. Jack's got his very nice homepage. And let's be real, there will be losers. There's no black box miracle system that prints out winning trades automatically. The whole purpose of Jack's research is to work with traders and to help give folks an edge in the financial markets. If you can't handle losing a trade, you shouldn't be trading with real money. Again, losses in trading have occurred and will occur in the future. Just note, I always say start small, scale up over time. You're not going to be a millionaire overnight unless you're already a millionaire. All right, that is me, Lance Ippolito. I got a full shirt on there, long sleeve and all. It's hot here though in Florida, so I won't look at that thing for another few months. Today, you're going to discover what Wall Street really thinks of Tesla. And it comes down to these two mystery orders. Wall Street just made behind the scenes worth 18 million. That's a good chunk of money. Yeah,
it's not a small sandwich.
No, not at all. And the largest mystery orders my guest has ever seen on Wall Street's make, not only on Tesla stock, but the two largest he's seen ever. They could signal if Wall Street thinks Tesla is about to make an epic comeback from poor earnings and leadership controversies, or if Wall Street thinks we're about to watch Elon Musk momentum collapse. Today, we're going to reveal the mystery order to you, and you'll discover if Wall Street is secretly bullish or bearish on Tesla's future. I feel like I already spoiled that, kind of. Plus, my guest will show you his #1 way to target Tesla's mystery order for extra income this week. It's the same method he used to recently hit 3 winners in a row. Look at you, Jack. I like that. Yeah.
Commas in them. Yeah.
Commas in them. Those are always the best. That's 14,433 big ones you've missed out on. But no worries. We're here to talk about the future, not the past. So listen up. In the next few minutes, the income ace is exposing Wall Street, showing everyday folks how to turn their secretive, high conviction bets into opportunities targeting $1 grand or more. And you won't see Jack on CNBC, Fox Business, or not even much on the internet, especially in a couple weeks when he's out in Colorado. That's because these mystery orders have been completely hidden in the dark by Wall Street's most powerful elites. I'm talking about trades that don't even happen in the regular stock market. But thanks to the state-of-art technology and thousands of dollars in development, we can now track these secret high conviction bets in real time. For example, we look at the Real Alert in Facebook, which is ticker META, Meta, back in January. Unlike most stocks which have been going higher since the beginning of the year, Meta was going nowhere fast for the month into January. For most folks, that's a red flag. Oh no. But anyone who knew about this hidden secret, ooh, I love that, could have taken a couple minutes to jump in on the opportunity on a regular broker account, would have gotten the job done, then walked away and enjoyed a nice dinner at Olive Garden. Maybe Carrabba's if you want a chain Italian, or maybe you home cook some corn on the cob. Then hit the golf course the next day. Me and Jack prefer fishing, not as many gators as the golf course. And sure enough, a few days later, you could have came back to 5,000 in extra income. My special guest calls this new way of investing backdoor income. That's because these opportunities don't happen out in the open. where everyone is looking, they happen behind the scenes where almost no one can spot them. And by applying these same core principles, he used to help generate an extra $71,725 in profits in 1999. See the nice, love those kind of paper, fancy papers there, little tan colored to them. They look all official and feel good. And then in 2022, an incredible $42,794 in his model portfolio during one of the worst years since the Great Recession. Oh, I remember that. 2022 was brutal, especially for the NASDAQ. And that's a staggering 97% success rate. He's found a way to leverage these secretive high conviction bets and turn them into opportunities, sometimes targeting $1,000 or more week after week, just like he did in Amazon back in September. Now, if there was a stock I never want to buy and hold, it'd probably be this one. The share price plunged from $199 all the way down to $154 heading in September, and for good reason. They had a missed earnings, the disappointing guidance on Amazon stock, and from a technical perspective, it broke below the 200-day moving average. But on September 12th, $665,000 came flooding through the back door faster than the cliffs of Niagara Falls. Ooh. Meaning that Wall Street was secretly placed in a high conviction trade on Amazon. And with a few clicks, you could do it inside a Tasty Trade, a Schwab, Fidelity, E-Trade, any regular broker account. Jack, I know you like doing retirement accounts and 401ks as well, people can do. Mm-hmm. Anyone could have grabbed a little slice of the pie, then go back to enjoying life, maybe the beach, maybe a good book on the hammock, or maybe having a martini with some friends. And then on Friday, watch his backdoor income hit the account. And it looked like Wall Street's timing was impeccable. A few days later, Morgan Stanley named Amazon one of the best stock picks for the year. And as you can imagine, the share price climbed higher on the good news. Anyone who knew about this $665,000 backdoor bet that hit on September 12th could have walked away with an additional $5,244 in backdoor income. Now, if you're guessing what today's opportunity is all about, hang tight for a minute, because Jack's not talking about boring dividends. Oh, he's not betting the farm on a risky penny stock. And we're certainly not talking about some high yield savings account that might pay you a couple $100 at the end of the year if you're lucky. Today, we're going to convert and cover one of the Wall Street's dirtiest moves, one that's been unstoppable over the last few years in the US stock market, and how to turn these sneaky bets what could be your very own backdoor income, targeting new opportunities week after week. So welcome to Backdoor Income by Jack Carter. Ooh, I love that, Jack, even by the pool.
Yes,
now,
sir.
If you didn't know, I am dressed like I'm going to the pool. I'm Lance Pluto. I rarely get dressed up anymore, I'll be honest. And you might recognize me from YouTube, Perfect Tesla Trader, Master Indicator, or messing with the cows outside. And the Master Indicator helped folks steer away from some of the scariest drops in the bear market of 2022. And normally I avoid the mainstream financial media recommendations, to say the least. But given my guest's impressive resume, having run his hedge fund with a 0 losing months on records, plus his expertise being a NASDAQ market maker moving over $1 billion, obviously I had to pay attention to the man himself, Jack Carter, the income ace. And Jack, that's one of the coolest pictures I've seen. I need some cool AI generated pics, and with the ace of spades and all. And his close-knit group of followers love him. For example, Scott S., great guy, excellent returns with a 95% win rate, ending up with $1,000 or more per week. Or Chris, who wrote in, my profits year to date are $13,000 from Jack. Charles B., who loves what Jack has been able to teach him, says, you open my eyes to a different type of trade, very high win rate, over 18,000, says. Yet, Despite having one of the most impressive track records I've seen in the world of finance, he's actively avoided the spotlight the past 25 years. He's turned down newspapers, radio interviews. You won't see him at the local country club in Naples. You won't see him on Kramer. You won't see him on Squawk Box or with Don Lemon on CNN. Not at all. You're more likely to find him on the beach or fishing in Colorado. Look at that. With the fly rod.
Yes, sir.
With the fly rod.
Yeah.
At that age. You got to love that. In his
Good
cabin
job.
in the busy New York City. And today he's going to spill the beans. Ooh. And what could be one of the most important trading secrets. As you might expect, he's been reluctant to appear on camera with the secret, but he believes there's too many people struggling with the rising cost of living and the devastation, heck, even this year, that's hit retirement accounts. And he feels he has a duty to help ease that pain. And that's why today, Jack, the income ace, is doing something he never thought he would do, exposing Wall Street, sharing exactly how folks like you could legally turn these secretive high conviction bets, what could be backdoor income, within a matter of days. Have less stress about the future, more time enjoying the present. And if that perks up your ears, stick around. In the next few minutes, we'll show you exactly how to turn these high conviction Wall Street bets into opportunities targeting extra income. Plus, we'll be giving a small group of people a chance to claim $1,000 surprise to kick it off. So everyone, let me welcome you to Jack Carter. Jack, take it away, my friend.
Thank you, Lance, and hello, everybody. I want to thank you all here for taking time to be here. You've arrived at a very opportunistic time. And boy, you sure built me up with that introduction, Lance, and I hope I can live up to it.
Jack, it's about time we finally sat down and did this interview. You know, I've looked high and low to find someone, anyone really out there in the industry with a comparable track record. And I'll be honest, I can't find a single hedge fund on Wall Street, obviously not some of these financial experts I know of, that has been close to matching this incredible feat. Not Soros, oh, thank God. Not even Bill Ackman or the Omaha legend Buffett.
Thanks, Lance. I've worked hard over the last 2 decades refining this method that I'm about to share with everybody today. Now, before we get going, though, I want to be very clear. There's no magic 8-ball when it comes to investing. So do I lose from time to time? Of course I do. Who doesn't? Anybody that says they don't have losses isn't being honest with you. But that's why my team and I have spent countless hours researching and invested thousands of dollars into isolating these backdoor income opportunities to make sure that nothing even comes close. In fact, the matter is, unless you worked on Wall Street like I have, you'd likely have no way to access it. You see, what I'm about to show you guys today really isn't even supposed to be possible. In fact, you're not even really supposed to know it even exists. Most people don't know that. But thanks to our team of developers working around the clock to make it happen, everything for you is about to change starting today. Because starting this very day, you can now leverage some of Wall Street's most secretive high conviction bets and turn them into backdoor income opportunities targeting $1,000 or more every single week, no matter what. For example, here's another real trade with Netflix in November 2024. The stock was on a tear. It's been hot.
Oh, yeah.
Gaining over 14% to start the month. That was in November. But any reasonable investor looking at technical analysis probably would have avoided this stock waiting for a nice pullback. The RSI was way overcooked. The stochastics were in the sell zone and just about to start crossing lower. And the Bollinger Bands, they were in the upper range, meaning the stock should fall. But as you'll see today, these backdoor income opportunities, they don't show up in the chart. They don't show up in technical indicators, and they don't show up in fundamentals. They hit where almost no one is looking. And that's exactly what happened on November 19th as one order for $316,627 came through the back door on Netflix, not the front door. And this was betting six figures that the stock would go higher and higher by Sunday. So you could have placed a trade from your cell phone. And by the time Sunday rolled around, you would have pocketed an extra $8,182 in backdoor income, all while hanging out with your best friends. That happened in 7 days.
Hey, Jack, 8,000 bucks in a few minutes. That seems like a pretty good deal to me. Think about it. The average weekly pay in the US is around 1,200 bucks, and that's after working a grueling 40 hours a week. But this one position in Netflix could have more than 6x that amount without taking time away from your kids or your friends. What's not to love about that?
Well, I couldn't agree more, Lance. I mean, listen, everybody loves when money comes in the front door, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm talking about income in the front door from your salary, maybe Social Security or a pension plan. Money that you worked hard for. And outside of just covering the bills, you should be able to also spend it on the things you actually love to do. I know I do. For me, that's spending more time in the great outdoors. I want to live my life outside, helicopter skiing in Blue River, Canada, fishing down in Bonita Springs, Florida, or taking the motorcycles out for a spin in Colorado. But unfortunately, that's just not an option for a lot of people out there right now. Now, take a minute to look at this. Since 2008, the number of billionaires has gone up 10 times from 267 to 2,781.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 times, right? Meanwhile, the U.S. Census Bureau found that for everybody else that's not a billionaire, real median household income after taxes fell 8.8% to just $64,240. Now, let me say that again. That's a big hit. Household income fell for the average Joe. And at the same time, the cost of living has only gotten more expensive. That's not going to go away. Jumping an extra $5,596 each year for the average family. And right now, folks are seeing their hard-earned money come in the front door and instantly leave out the back door. And that's why I wanted to sit down with you here today, Lance, to help put an end to this vicious cycle and turn the back door into what could be a new stream of income that 99.9% of Americans never knew existed. Money you don't have to work early mornings or late nights for. Nothing hard about this. Very easy. Because the truth is, everybody could use a little backdoor income right now. Just like this real example with MicroStrategy, MSTR, back in October. This happens all the time with us.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if this stock wasn't on your watch list, though, I don't blame you.
No, it's an odd one.
It's an oddball. And in September, MSTR maximized its exposure to Bitcoin's volatility of buying up over $1 billion worth of the coin. But by early October, Bitcoin's price was sinking and the king of crypto was taking a beating in the headlines. But on October 7th, for what seemed to be no reason at all, $1,020,040, that's one order, came through the back door on MSTR. And this is a high conviction bet that no one else sees, right? And they think the stock is going to shoot higher over the next few days.
Oh, yeah. And Jack, it did.
It sure did. The stock popped 10% right there out of nowhere. And it continued to head into orbit. Now, had you waited for the headlines to surface, you would have been too late. But anyone using this strategy who placed a trade on October 7th when this $1 million backdoor bet hit on Mr., well, they would have had $8,519 in backdoor income in 4 days.
Jack, that could have been enough money to cover the increased cost of living for a year after that one trade, and for others, maybe enough to cover some mortgage without needing to drain the emergency fund or work the late night Uber. I can't imagine the amount of stress that would help relieve so many people right now.
Well, Lance, as you know, these types of opportunities are available to pretty much anyone out there right now as we speak. You only need to pull this off, just these things. You need a standard brokerage account. That's all you need. Plus an internet connection. That's all you need. And a couple $100 to get started. That's it. Simple. Now, Wall Street could probably put a gag order out for what we're about to share. No one knows this goes on. You're going to love this. But frankly, I don't care if they put out a gag order. I'm too tired of seeing too many people boarding up the windows waiting for a recession.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're tired of deciding between paying the rising cost of groceries or getting ahead in retirement, then listen up, because this is for you. The truth is, each one of these backdoor income events I'm going to show you today, it was in fact foreseeable. Now, how could that be the case? I'll explain it. And you could have pocketed at least $1,000 on every one of these. For example, look at this real trade on NVIDIA in September. Despite a steady climb of 139% for a year, NVIDIA stock was dropping like a stone. And that was thanks in part to a major earnings disappointment that sent shares falling 6% in one day. Failed to impress. The next week, NVIDIA dropped by a staggering $279 billion. That's the biggest single-day loss in history. What a wipeout. Then came another gut punch. NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, dumped $633 million of his own shares. The result, NVIDIA's worst week in over 2 years, with over $400 billion in market value erased. The message was clear. The AI boom was over. NVIDIA was done. The goose was cooked, and most traders headed for the exit. Game over.
Game over.
Game over. But despite all the noise surrounding NVIDIA, it wasn't game over for everybody, because something out of the ordinary happened on September 9th. Very strange. Wasn't over for this cat. 4.7 million. That's one order. Came flooding through the back door, betting that the stock would soar over the next few days. You think somebody knew something? Nobody just throws $4.7 million on a speculative trade. I think somebody knew something. Let's see what happened. Now, almost every regular person out there like you and me, we had no way of knowing what was going on, no way of knowing that big order was out there. And you wouldn't be able to see this sneaky transaction in the stock's volume. Couldn't see it there. It's not a block trade, not an iceberg order that you can read about on the interweb, nothing like that.
Oh.
And that's exactly how Wall Street designed this trade, all right? This is to keep their high conviction, secretive bets as far away from the public eye as possible. They don't want anybody getting in on it.
That's right.
But without fail, just days after Wall Street placed this secretive bet, Wang announced some exciting news for the company. He said NVIDIA had received so many orders for their AI tech that everything is sold out. So what do you think happened with that $4 million order? The stock popped 8% right away. Somebody had to know something.
Oh, for sure,
Right?
Jack.
Then the shares catapulted even higher. And had you waited for the headline to hit the public, you would have totally missed out. But if you placed that trade when that $4.7 million backdoor order hit, right when that order hit, you could have seen an extra $6,129 in income come through the back door without having to lift a finger. Now, this shouldn't shock you, but folks like us don't have access to the same information Wall Street does. You don't have the major inside scoop or the next major earnings report or a new buyout agreement. We don't get to see that.
No.
You see, we only see the headlines after all the big money has been made. But in this digital age, we're seeing more and more headline breaking news leak among Wall Street than ever before. News leaks are everywhere.
You got that right, Jack.
Look at this. ProPublica talking about, yeah, look at this. Execs make millions via timely trades of competitor stock. It's almost like they were front running it. Legion stock breaks out on leak. And all these leaks, it's given some shady characters a chance to get in and place their bets before the information goes public and before the share prices go higher. Looks like front running, shady characters. Now, whenever private information leaks before the public knows about it, and before the share price of a stock even starts moving, that's when you'll see one of these secretive high conviction bets hit out of nowhere. Huge ones. Except they're not trading like you and I, all right? They're not buying shares of the stock of the company. They're not doing that. They're using a backdoor approach that regulators have a hard time tracking. Almost impossible time tracking this. Now, I call this a flood order. And that's because these secretive high conviction flood orders, they pour a ton of money in the back door of a stock in just a matter of seconds. And they almost always seem to come right in perfect timing before a stock moves higher. That's when they come, right before the stock moves higher. Now let's take a look at this real trade. This is Alphabet's Class A ticker, GOOG-L. The stock soared 40% in 2024, with investors excited for Alphabet's new quantum computing chip called Willow. But then news broke about China's cheaper, faster, more efficient AI called Deep Fake, which set off a tech rout that saw 1 trillion evaporate from NVIDIA, Google, and others in a matter of hours. That's China for you. But the very next day, on January 28th, one order, $500,000 flood order, came through the back door of the stock. Nobody knew this even happened. Betting 6 figures that the stock would go higher before the end of the month hit. Secretive high conviction bet that was. And if you use this new method, you could have cashed out big. That would have been another $7,483 in backdoor income, all while relaxing stress-free. 3 days that one took, $7,000. And everybody could use a little backdoor income right now.
Jack, that's remarkable. That could have been north of 5,000 in 10 trading days.
Yep.
And that do a lot of good for so many folks right now, especially in the economy. While we've kept, and Jack, you specifically have kept this near to your chest for some time, only sharing it with some of your closest colleagues. It reminds me of some of the top results your best students have achieved by following some of your sister services, like Laura P., who put 7,000 of premiums in 1 week. Pete F., who wrote in, made 22 grand on one trade in 10 days. Very simple to use.
Yeah, those are some really remarkable stories. And I want to remind folks that no strategy is perfect. And just like with anything in the stock market, there will be winners and losers too. And this strategy is no exception.
Correct.
And that's why I always tell my students to never invest more than they can afford to lose on any one trade. Thankfully, with my style of trading, you don't have to. In fact, you would have only needed $64 to take the average trade so far from the data. Anybody can afford it. Now, of course, the more you invest, the more you stand to make, but you can always start out small and then scale over time. But it all starts with isolating these flood orders over and over again.
Oh, yes, Jack. And that's what I love about this.
Yeah. Now, like I mentioned, these flood orders, they don't happen in a normal stock market where everyone else can see it. They don't want it in the stock market. Instead, they hit in the options market. So they're using options to mask their bet. Now, stock market researchers put it this way. They say traders will use this order combination when they might have non-public information about a stock like earnings or other price-moving news, maybe illegal inside information. They want to use options, right? Non-public information. And this is a great place, the options market, that's a great place for insiders to hide their trades and avoid legal trouble.
Correct.
Now, Cornell University shared research that stated derivatives can sidestep the state policy That's just a fancy way of saying, there is no state policy. This isn't Russia. It's just that using options can avoid the stock market scrutiny. So that's added protection for these secretive traders. And these two massive $18 million flood orders on Tesla that I'm going to reveal in a moment, those are the two biggest I've ever seen in my life. 10 million, 8 million. You don't do that speculating. You only do that if you got a high conviction trade, right? And now in a moment, I'm going to suggest and show you what these are. Now, there's really no way for us to know if there's an insider trading leaked news or not. But frankly, I don't care if it's leaked news. That doesn't matter. Thanks to a state-of-the-art technology that we own in-house, we're able to catch these flood orders the minute they hit and turn them into backdoor income opportunities targeting $1,000 or more just by following along. Now, here's another real trade example. This one's on Alphabet's Class C ticker, just plain old Goog. Now, after a red-hot 2024, this stock started 2025 in a major rut. And that was thanks in part to worries about significant antitrust litigation. Everybody, the government's all over them trying to break them up. Followed by a major earnings bomb that sent shares falling 9%. People had given up on this thing. And that left the stock steadily sinking for the next few weeks. Not a great time to be a shareholder. But despite all the noise surrounding Alphabet, something out of the ordinary happened on February 11th. I'll give you one guess what that was. A massive $139,000 flood order hit on Alphabet, betting the stock would soar in the next few days. A backdoor order, okay, in the options market. And almost every regular person out there like you and me had no way of knowing. Unless you saw that flood order, you'd have no way to know.
Oh, yeah, Jack.
But if you placed a quick trade when that flood order hit, right when that flood order hit, you would have seen an extra $4,394 in income come through the back door without having to lift a finger. This one happened in 3 days. And as great as that is, it gets even better. You see, a couple years back, our team began working really hard to nail down a way to track these flood orders in real time.
Oh, yeah.
And although he's too humble to admit it, our guy Lance right here, he was the lead expert behind the project, and he got the job done in spades, flying colors. Now look at this. He worked hard to build a system that tracks all these flood orders in real time. It's amazing. Color-coded even. I love that. Now, you can't get an order in that we don't see. Then he sat down and he showed me it in action. I really couldn't believe it. Even when someone's trying to hide an order through 16 exchanges, one order, this tracking he's got, the scanner, it can find it as all one order. Now, instantly, I knew with this amount of information at my fingertips, we're going to change investing forever.
That's true, Jack, and I love it.
Yeah. You see, most folks who trade options, they lose, right? Because they only know one of the two keys to profitably trading options. Now, almost everybody thinks that all you need to be a profitable trader is to know where a stock price is going. But actually, the secret sauce is in also knowing when it will get there, the where and the when. Now, up until this point, I've been able to use technical and fundamental analysis to help me out. And I've been really good at it for decades with my top strategy producing an incredible 97.1% win rate on over 100 real money live signals. But I've never had a chance to access a tool this powerful, this specific, that's dialed in both of these key ingredients with a potential stock move simultaneously, okay? Now we got the where a stock is going to go. And now, for the first time ever, we have when it should get there. This is so specific. And with these flood orders, we can now see it all in real time the second it hits.
Yes.
Yeah, I get jacked up about this because look at this. We're seeing the ticker they're trading right here. This is how it looks, right? The strike price, that means where they think it's going to go. We see the premium they spent, right? And when it should get there with their expiration date. this is almost an unfair advantage because for the first time ever, we can now apply my extremely accurate income methods with Lance's proprietary system spotting these flood orders in real time. This is it, man, and target even larger returns than most traditional income methods out there. Like when a $147,000 flood order hit on Devon Energy, we see it all. Nobody else sees this. This is not public. But had you bought the stock, you might make 54 bucks. If you use traditional income methods, maybe you're at 475. That's still nothing. Look at this. The backdoor. This is where strategy selection beats everything else. Okay. This strategy, this backdoor income strategy, look at it. $2,195 in 4 days is better than buying a stock. It's better than traditional income methods. Nothing comes close. Same case with Roblox. Facts here, my friend. When a $168,000 flood order hit, we see the stock, the calls, win, premium, bullish, strike, everything. But had you bought the stock, maybe you make 243 bucks in Roblox. If you use traditional income methods, maybe you're at 526, right? Look at this. Nothing comes close. $3,157 in 11 days with the backdoor income technique. Everybody needs more backdoor income. So do you see what I mean when I say that nothing else even comes close? Nothing comes close. Now, one more for fun. This one's on Airbnb. On June 26th, a $163,850 flood order hit. Nobody saw it, but we see all this data right here. Had you bought the stock, $170. Traditional income methods, maybe $500. Backdoor income method, $4,492 in less than a week. Nothing comes close to this.
Jack, with this breakthrough, that would have been more than 20x what the stock paid and nearly 10x what traditional income methods would have produced. What you have done with this data is essentially hand the average investor a chance to finally turn the tables. And you've been able to create something entirely new by combining your unstoppable income techniques. Again, as a former market maker, you have that massive, massive advantage. And the best part, you've been able to do this over and over again, knowing this secret, both where the stock could go and when it should get there. Folks can help use this strategy to put the stock market at work for them instead of against them. And while you kept this strategy close to your chest until recently, good things seem to follow you everywhere you go, especially with some of the most dedicated students like Steven. Says I'm making $1,000 to $1,500 per month. David B, I have 3 accounts I trade. All were negative until I began following you at this time. He's up very nicely, 4,788 bucks. Then there's some exceptional ones like Irv. Says this method netted me 40,000 the past 12 months. Rob W says, by following your system, my win size increased and my win-loss ratio has improved. Last year, I completely offset my loss carryover, 60,000, and I expect more this year. Now, Jack, those are some amazing stories, but I can't wait until folks get their hands on this.
I can't either.
We have, Jack, just hitting the market, a brand new flood order, and you can't wait around much longer because, let's be honest, time is of the essence. That's why Jack and I put together an easy to read write-up if you want to get on this brand new opportunity before it's too late. Inside, you'll see all the information you need to get into the trade, and it shouldn't take more than a few minutes to set up the position. That's it. Go about your life. Of course, we can't promise any future results against losses, but it looks identical to the opportunity where we saw in the PayPal. Now on July 7th, it was about 233,000 flood order came across the back door on PayPal. And you could take a few minutes, set up the trade, go about your life. When all said and done, that was over 3,000 in backdoor income. That's money you could put maybe to the piggy bank. Graduation just happened for a lot of folks out there. And the truth is, everyone can use a little backdoor income right now. That's why we want to rush this brand new signal, and you can access it by subscribing. Jack, this is something phenomenal you created. It's an
Thank you.
income service, just like the market makers do. And
Yep.
Jack, I love it. It's backdoor income alerts. This is something truly special you created.
Thank you. Hey, I want this experience to be unlike anything you've ever been part of before. That's why each and every time one of these opportunities hits my desk, one that I would personally recommend to my closest friends and family, what I'm going to do is I'll review the data, then instantly send you the alert right to your inbox. One, you can expect one every single week, at least one. For example, like when the $244,000 flood order hit on ExxonMobil, we see it all. And I would have immediately looked over all the analysis, all the data, ran the ticker through my analysis, and sent you the exact trade criteria you needed to follow along if you wanted to. Placing these trades is a piece of cake. I give you the ticker, I give you the options criteria, entry, exit, everything you need. And I would have sent it right to your inbox. It's going to come from me, Jack Carter, new backdoor income alert. And it would have clear instructions on how to enter the position. This is no harder than riding a bike. It's very easy to do. And had you followed along, well, just 1 week later, you would have come back to see this.
Let's look at it.
2,820 in backdoor income. And backdoor income alerts is the only place in the world I know of where we're able to leverage these secret high conviction flood orders and turn them into opportunities targeting 1,000 or more in just a matter of days. And I want your experience with backdoor income alerts to be as hands-free as possible. I'm going to do all the heavy lifting here for you. Now, of course, alongside the email alerts, I'll also be including cell phone alerts, so while you're out and about, you can always take advantage of the backdoor income alerts. That way, whether you're at home playing around, out on the range.
There you go.
There it is, out on the water.
Jack, is that you on the flats boat or?
Yeah, that's me on a flatboat up down in the Keys, fishing for bonefish, fly fishing for
Fly
bonefish.
fishing for 'em?
Yeah. But regardless, you'll never have to miss out.
Good.
You'll just want to place the trade before the market closes that day. If you choose, then you're all set. Just get it in before the close. And when it's all said and done, if it works out as planned, the money should be instantly deposited into your account. Piece of cake. And that's including the brand new opportunity I have lined up for you today. We got a flood order locked and loaded. This one's hot. It just hit my desk. You're going to love it.
And Jack, I can't wait to see what you got up your sleeve for the newest opportunity. If there's one thing I know, your best students love how reliable your strategies have been in the past across all your various income programs like DH, Simple Instructions, Rich. My record is 14,905 in 4 days.
Yeah. Hey, those are some amazing stories. And I can't wait to hear from more people once they get started with the backdoor income alerts today. It's on like Donkey Kong. But I'm not done. You see, there's something I haven't told you yet today, and it takes these backdoor income alerts to a whole new level. Now, we all know that in trading, nothing is guaranteed. Even Wall Street has their fair share of losers too. And that's why I've implemented a couple special type of trade that can allow us to collect this backdoor income, even if Wall Street misses the mark. By using a variation of the core method that I've been using for decades now, the method that helped me lock in an incredible 97.1% success rate in the past. But we don't need to bank on a stock going sky high in order to collect our backdoor income. The stock doesn't have to go sky high. In fact, we have an opportunity to cash in if the stock goes up, sideways, or even slightly lower. That's why the strategy is a winner, making this even safer to use than a lot of other strategies out there. For example, look at these 3 backdoor income opportunities on AMD. Like in August, you can see this flood order that came through on AMD. We see it all, $500,000 on the line. And as expected, the shares rallied 3% over the next few days. And anyone who would have bought the shares would have earned $306 on the stock. But anybody who would have used the backdoor income method would have walked away with 15 times more. Now, consider what happened in July. On July 21st, one order, $275,000 flood order hit on AMD. Yet this time the stock barely budged an inch. And anyone who would have bought the shares would have earned a measly $179. But anybody who would have used the backdoor income method would have walked away with 20 times that, 3,698 compared to 179. Nothing even comes close. And then look at the flood order that hit back in June.
Ooh, let's look at it.
This one, 287,000 high conviction bet. But this time it looks like you would have lost money. The stock didn't move. It went down a little.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, that happens. But if you bought the shares or even normal call options, you would have lost money, $282.
Ugh.
But with my backdoor income method, you would have banked the biggest one yet in just 1 week, $5,151. We don't need the stock to go sky high. And that's why every time I send out a backdoor income alert, I'll also be including the built-in safety net protecting your profits. And each and every backdoor income alert I'll send you will have a game-changing risk component already built into the alert. That way you don't need to stress about losing big, even if the stock doesn't go, if the stock goes lower.
And Jack, that's what I love. It's a huge value. Imagine you can make money on the position even when the stock went against you. And it's a unique method that have your top students loving this jaw-dropping success rate from some of the various services like Webin, 100% win rate. Richard, your record is 100%.
Honestly, I expect to keep my accuracy sky high and at the same time give folks the chance to target much larger income premiums than ever before. And never before have we had this much data in real time on Wall Street's most secretive bets. It's an edge that almost no one else in the world has access to. Now, I realize some of you are newer to options, and that's why I've instructed my team to include a special training package to help you get started. And it'll teach you all the way from rookie level to pro level in no time.
Good.
Now, the course is called Understandable Options, and this will teach you everything from level 1 all the way up to level 3. And while my publisher would prefer to sell this for thousands of dollars on the side, I've worked out a special deal with them where you're going to get it included with your membership today for free.
Jack, I've gone through the course myself. Our team paid over $20,000 just to develop it. So when you consider all the special perks plus the backdoor income alerts, it is easily worth $20,000. But let's be honest, Jack, that's a lot of money.
Not going to cost $20,000, not going to cost $10,000. Okay.
Good.
Not even $5,000. Well, that'd be a no-brainer price, but we're not going to do that even. Now, given the value of the research here, and that with backdoor income alerts, we're gaining an almost unfair edge, unlike anything I've ever seen before. My publisher wanted me to set the price at $3,497 for today's new members.
Nathan, that's a lot of money, Jack.
But I talked to him and I worked up a special deal. And up until this point, my most elite income service runs for $2,297.
Good.
So I thought that'd only be fair to honor that price here with the all new backdoor income alerts and charge $2,297 per year.
Good.
That would have been a good price, but don't log off yet because folks joining us live right now in this very broadcast, you're going to get an even better deal.
Oh, Jack, I am anticipating. I'm anxious. Give me the details.
All right. Well, first we got the double bonus round. Okay.
Oh, ooh.
This is good. Now, I know that this service, even at $2,297, is a phenomenal value. But I also know that with inflation, high interest rates, and even the cost of gas going through the roof, that's quite a bit of money right now.
Yes.
Now, I don't want there to be anyone left behind in the backdoor income alerts, as I truly believe that it's going to help change thousands of people's lives for the better. So if you're here right now, join today, right here, right now. And if you do, I'm going to give you the backdoor I'm going to give you the backdoor income action taker discount. Now, you know I love action takers. Everybody you read about that wrote in that made money, they're action takers, and you got the same talent and ability they do. And for the folks who take action today, I'm going to knock $1,000 off, and this should remove all barriers to entry and make it so that everybody out there can afford this premium service.
Jack, let me get this right, because even I'm a little shocked and perplexed. So and again, I just want to make sure this is right, because I know, they do some crazy marketing deals out there. So you're taking the price $22.97 and you're cutting $1,000 off that for only $12.97 for the first year.
That's exactly right, Lance. I don't want there to be any reason why anybody can't join today.
Jack, given you have nearly 5,000 active student members and 419,000 following your newsletter, my goodness, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know these spots could go. I mean, I think they will go lightning fast. Let's be honest. And before
we drop the link, I'm about to do something that's going to make this deal even sweeter.
What?
Yep.
I don't even know about this.
Yeah. Now you see these CBOE reports more and more of these flood orders. They're hitting more than ever before. It's shattering records with these.
They are. I know that.
In fact, 2024 was the biggest year by a mile.
Yeah.
And almost everybody expects this year, 2025, to be even larger. Just like the 2 flood orders Wall Street placed on Tesla worth over $18 million that I'm going to reveal to you in a moment. So although 1 backdoor income alert per week sounds pretty good and could be a nice buffer to help with the ever-rising cost of living, I think 2 each week would be even better.
What?
Backdoor income, double the value deal. I don't want to limit you to just 1. I'm going to double the value and give you 2 alerts each week. That's around 100 of these reliable backdoor income alerts over the course of your first year. And double the opportunity to pick up profits so big they got a comma in them. And folks, you don't want to miss out on this newest opportunity that could open up for us over the next couple weeks. It's getting hot in here. Starting with your very first income signal today, we got a new trade in the members portal. Get in on this while you still can. Plus 100 more income opportunities over the course of the year. But if you need to act now, because be one of the first in the door today. We're getting started right now. It's going to be first come, first served. So click the link in the chat to get started. Raleigh dropped the link, or you could go to jackcartertrading.com/99, or you could put your name and phone number in the chat. It will lock you in, or have your credit card ready and call us 904-706-3534. Take one of those choices, but don't take the choice to do nothing, because we got a new trade posted. This is going to be coming to you twice a week, backdoor income. This is what you want. This is the kind of profit you want. Give us a call, 904-706-3534. Click the link in the chat to get started. So what's the new position going to be? Well, only the folks who take action right now will know.
Ooh.
And if that's you, I couldn't be more excited, and I can't wait to hear from you. And while we can never promise any future gains, we've been able to see these powerful backdoor income opportunities work time and time again. But this ship is sailing soon, and you need to jump on board right away. The ship is sailing soon. We got a new trade posted. Go to the members area. Go to jackcartertrading.com/99, or have your credit card ready. Give us a call, 904-706-3534. And for a very limited time, I've set up an even sweeter deal where you can get 2 years of access for less than $1,000 a year. That's a great deal. That's an incredible savings of $997.
That's the one people really want.
That's the one. Now, you need to act fast to take advantage of it, because the clock is already ticking down to 0.
Oh, man.
And once you lock in your membership today, do not close the next page, because on that page, there's going to be a very special offer where you can upgrade to lifetime access for dirt cheap. Everybody wants the lifetime deal. That's the deal you want. And that means no pesky renewal fees, no subscription clock ticking down. You get to access backdoor income alerts for years to come as long as I publish them. So we got that new trade for you. Click the link in the chat to get started or call us 904-706-3534. And remember, folks, with this system running around the clock, spotting these flood orders in real time, we can now see Wall Street's secretive high conviction trades the second they hit.
Yeah.
The ticker they're trading, where they think the stock will go, and when they think it should get there. Now, for the first time ever, you can now apply my extremely accurate income methods with this proprietary system, spotting these flood orders in real time, and target even larger returns than most traditional income methods out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So look at Devon Energy. Maybe you made 54 on the stock, 475 with traditional income, 2,195 in 4 days with the backdoor income method. Nothing comes close. Airbnb, 170 on the stock, 4,492 with the backdoor income method. Nothing comes close. We got that new trade. Click the link in the chat to get started. Put your name and phone number in the chat if you want to get started that way, or give us a call. And you don't need to start with 100,000 or even 10,000.
No, start small.
I'd suggest having 1,000 to get started with. But the average trade is less than $100.
Ooh, I love that, Jack.
Yes. And you can always start out smaller and grow your account over time.
Perfect.
Just like some of my very best students from my various programs in the past. Karen P. wrote in, I finally conquered the option trade with your guidance. I've made 3,000 in 4 months with the knowledge you've given me. Orlena said, I think it's awesome. I started with 4,000. I now have 12,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Carol Lee said, thank you, Jack. Using your strategy in one weekend trade, I paid off my Tesla car for the following Tuesday. How about
I
that?
remember I was with you for that one.
Yes. It doesn't matter who you are, what color your skin is, where you live, if you want to start with 100 grand or just 1,000. I've designed this method to be so accessible that almost anybody can use it, and you can get started right now today. Just click the link in the chat to get started, or go to jackcartertrading.com/99. Put your name and phone number in the chat. We'll give you a call and lock you in, or call us 904-706-3534. Now let's answer some common questions and we'll open up the chat. How much is needed? Well, the average trade is around $68, and as you've seen today, some are less than 100 to get in.
So it's easy and low cost to get in.
It is. Now, will every trade be a winner? Of course not. No strategy wins 100% of the time. But according to my test, these backdoor income alerts, we've been extremely profitable for folks who stick to the system. That's the key. Stick to it. Now, should I be worried about more downside? Well, that's the beauty of this system, is we're able to walk away with a profit even if the position goes slightly against us. And I'm using the same core method that's helped me achieve a 97.1% success rate in both bull and bear markets. So it doesn't matter about the broad market.
Good.
Can I trade in an IRA or 401k? Yes, you can. It's totally retirement account friendly. Is there any sort of guarantee? Yes, there is. Since this is a premium offering and it requires a ton of work on my end, I'm offering you a 14-day money-back guarantee. But my goal is to have you cover the membership, so none of that's going to matter, okay? The rest will be sheer profit. But if you ever have questions about the membership, the strategy, trade alert info, or anything else, then here's one more awesome bonus that everybody tuning in should know about. That's Customer Support Live. I'm including a free pass to our daily Customer Support Live room, where my top team members are live in a Zoom room every trading day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if they can't answer your question, they can reach out directly to me to get you an answer ASAP. But these experts are best in the business, and they're waiting every day to help you with anything you need. Now, are Wall Street's $18 million flood orders bullish or bearish on Tesla's future? Somebody knows something, and they're bullish.
Oh, yeah.
They're bullish. They're bullish. The bulls. We got that new trade posted. Even if it's not Tesla, you're going to get 2 of these every week. Backdoor income alerts is the only place you can get this type of income going with this type of secret high conviction bet. Put your name in the chat. Raleigh dropped the link. You can click the link to get started or give us a call, 904-706-3534.
Jack, I'm going to run through some questions in the live chat we have here. And if you can answer these, we have so many questions and so many great people, Jack. I think this is exactly what people need right now. So let me get to it, Jack, and I'm going to pull some questions from the chat. Nancy says, is this difficult?
This is child's play. Options do sound difficult, Nancy, and that's why we're giving you the free course so that you can get past those any complications you have. But this is so simple. I call it child's play. Once you get in and you see how this trade works and how we apply it, anybody can do it. We've never had anybody say they couldn't do this, right? So I've got you covered, Nancy. I'm giving you the live customer support room every single day. And if something happens, you can always email me, right? I'm going to get back to you. Jack always has your back.
Exactly. And Peter said, what's the number and email? Well, Peter, you could go to the jackcartertrading.com/99 is the link to sign up. Or if you want to talk to a real life person, Jack has an incredible team based in Jacksonville, Florida at 904-706-3534. They'll be more than happy to take your phone call. And also, Jack has an amazing team trained in his customer support live, which is there from 10 to 1 p.m. every single day, Monday through Friday. And they can obviously help you out. But Jack does phenomenal training as a former market maker. I've really learned so much from him, especially with these income strategies. And Jack has taken this to a whole new level with an incredible high accuracy rate and without having to be perfect timing the markets. So it's real easy to do. And it's such an advantage in this current market environment. You know, I think Jack, his goal, and Jack, you can please correct me if I'm mistaken, is to get folks to trade like a market maker with that very high accuracy rate. And when you do it that way, like a market maker, you're putting the odds in your favor. And that's really important right now.
Critical. Yep. Now, you know, we're not just speculating here. We're using these alerts that we see, right? We see these high conviction secretive orders, and that's the ones we go on. So this is not a system where we're just guessing at this, trying to put on a backdoor income trade. We're totally going by these large flood orders. And when they come in, we're just making the same move they're making, using a different strategy. So they're just buying calls or puts, right? We're not doing that. We're not buying the stock either.
Right.
We've got a special way to skin the cat. So you only need level 2, and we're going to teach you everything else about the strategy inside the alert, inside the booklet we already put together for you. So everything is in there for you right now. You just need level 2 from your broker. Don't ask them. Just tell them you want level 2, and you'll have no problem doing any of these trades. You're going to get 2 alerts every week for the rest of your life on high conviction, secretive trades. Nothing is as good as this. You're going to love this.
Ooh. Do I have to get approved with a broker to trade options? If so, what type? You can do this on any major broker account. Jack, correct me if I'm mistaken, but you know, a retirement account, 401k, regular broker account, Robinhood, Fidelity, Schwab, Tasty Trade, all good to go. Is that correct, Jack?
That is correct. piece of cake. Nothing special about this. Nothing complex about this. You got to get approved to trade options, and you want option level 2, and we'll take care of the rest. We got the training in there for you, but if you ever have any problems, we've got experts available live from 10 to 1 every day.
Exactly, Jack. And that's what I really, really love about this. It's easy to do. It's simple to follow along. And more importantly, it's the correct way of trading the financial markets, especially right now.
That's a good thing to put it. You say it's the correct way, because right now there is a correct way and there's an incorrect way. Like you say, that's a great statement. This is the correct way to do it right now, if you like making money.
Right. And let me just break that down here. Up here, there's really 2 ways you can try to trade the markets to make money. You could do one, the difficult way of trying to time what direction the S&P is going to by buying low, selling high, and trying to do that throughout the day. That's difficult, especially if you're new or you're not really skilled and advanced in markets. That's going to cause you a lot of stress, confusion, and you're going to be on the computer, all day trying to time, and you're getting little pieces of the pie, and you're having to risk, a lot of money, sometimes your whole account, just to do. With Jack's method, with backdoor income, you're using a small portion of that account, and you're doing not once, but Jack's doing you 2 alerts per week. You don't have to stay in them long. You don't have to do any kind of crazy management style or be on the computer all day and stressed out. The goal is to make it very easy as possible and getting a nice slice of the pie, right, from doing these trades, but not having to be perfect. And I found out, especially this year, as we saw the markets go up, then down, and now grinding higher, that can be very difficult. And I've really learned that, earlier this year, I took a big $15,000 loss on a directional trade. And since that, I've said, you know what? I'm going to scale down my size. I'm going to start trading like Jack does as a market maker. And it's done a couple of things for me. My account is growing slowly over time, week after week. But the beauty of it, and in my opinion, the more healthy side of it, is I can go mow the grass. I could go out to lunch. I could go to the Italian meat market and get my sausages to grill out later. I don't have to be perfect and stressed out and timing the markets all day. When you're doing something like this, you're putting the high conviction orders on, and you're not aiming for 5,000% or anything, trying to hit a home run. You can still do that with, other trades. But with this, you're looking at consistency, and you're looking to that week after week. Is that correct, Jack, what you said?
That's exactly right. You can go have a life. You can go down and do what you want. You don't have to stare at the screen at all. Just put the trade on, get your order in before the market closes that day, and you're set. This is totally different. This is freedom, right? And profitability.
Right. Yes, and that's what Jack was saying, is he's taking advantage of these big orders, and without having to worry, oh my God, what if Tesla goes down 3% tomorrow? What if it goes down 2% the next day? He's not, oh my goodness, what do I do? What do I do? He's giving himself so much advantage in the probability of the trade. And Jack, I can't wait to go to the members area here in about 10 minutes, and we log off and see what you got cooked up this week.
Yeah. Not just this week, though, but this market is getting so perfect for this because we're seeing more and more of these flood orders hit all the time.
Yes.
High conviction bets. And, I would not make a trade right now if you're lacking confidence. I wouldn't make a trade right now until you see how these trades work and why a guy would put $4 million into one trade, right? That's the stuff you want to go with. Don't try to figure out when somebody else is already figuring it out. We're just following these guys, but we're using a different way to skin the cat that gives us a much better probability of a better outcome. That's why you want this 2 trades for the rest of your life. I can't think of a better investment. You can get started today with the lifetime deal. Never look back.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the key of this is trying it, learn it, add this tool to your tool set. You know, I will always say you never just want to be a one trick pony.
No.
Because when the market does do something, whether it goes up or down or crashes or sideways, you really have to be like a chameleon and adapt to the current market environments. I know I had to this year, especially in February, and it was a huge change for me, as you know, some of y'all have seen with my daily SPX trades, but it's worked, right? And Jack's taking the biggest orders and some of the biggest stocks in the world and doing this with not, you know, putting hundreds of $1,000s at risk. You know, you can start small with a couple $100 or so and do this without, you know, being so dependent on what the stock market does each and every day. So
Exactly.
Jack, and I know you have a limited time you're offering this for folks out there. You know, I don't know when it ends, but I do know usually publisher Nate will make it available for a day or two. So you really got to take advantage right now.
Yeah. This has been great. And people that have it, they're loving the results, and just stick to the system. Just stick to it and get the profit you deserve, right? We're showing you 4-digit profits. That's what you want. Big ones, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, Brandon, don't worry about that order we saw on Tesla out there. That's just them buying calls. We'll have a better way to skin that cat, Brandon Brown. So just pay attention to the alerts we give you and how we give them to you, because we're not trading exactly the way they're doing it with that secretive high conviction float order. We're doing it a little bit different because we got a better way to skin the cat, but we are using the data they give us, the stock, the price, the expiration. And that's why this is working actually a little bit better than the way they're doing it.
Exactly. And you don't have to fork over, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars.
No, you don't have to do that. You don't have, they're making a huge commitment. You don't have to do anything like that. You can get the big bang for your buck this way without risking huge money.
Exactly. Jack, let's a couple more questions, because I know you got to get to your members area and start all the updates and everything.
Yep.
So let me pull out a couple more questions before you have to go here. And thank you for being here today so much.
Thank you.
Lisa says, what is the average hold time?
I think it's been 8 days.
Yep. So about a week or so, which is great. Let's get to a couple more here. We appreciate you, Nancy. Thank you so much. And yes, I think it was Victor says, can you do this in a Tasty Trade or Schwab account, broker?
Yep, I do it with Schwab. Yep, piece of cake. Tasty Trade will work great.
Is it bullish or bearish?
It can be both. Depends on what we see. Exactly.
And if you need to, if you have any questions, what I would recommend, instead of having to sit through a replay, which, you know, could be an hour long, or it might not even get up till tomorrow or so, which, you know, again, we can't control how long Jack will have this up, his team. What I would do if you need more information is just give that number. It goes to Jack's team at 904-706-3534. And they can answer if you have any specific questions or need a little bit more details. Jack will be, Jack's team is very, 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 very helpful, all based in Florida.
All of them, everybody, every single person in this organization is the best I've ever seen. Everybody.
Yes. Yeah. Very, 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 very lucky. Especially the Florida team has been just amazing to help out, to educate, and then to give you such fantastic programs that have been through the ups and downs of the markets.
Yes. They've been great.
Well, Jack, I think we covered so much. I know you're busy and I know you have to go to the members area and answer questions and help out with customer care. Again, if you guys or girls need anything, feel free to give Jack's team a call, 904-706-3534. The easiest way to get instant access is just clicking the link in the chat at jackcartertrading.com/99.
Yeah. And put your name and phone number in the chat if you have any questions. My team will get right back to you, explain everything you're going to get and get you locked and loaded. We're going to be coming in hot, baby. I'm telling you, we're going to get hot. So with that, Lance, thanks again. Adios, amigos.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it.
Thank you.